Krzyżowski Art Company. Film, music and art. Believing in abstract. Before watching this video, it's recommended to leave a comment, pushing a subscribe and a like button. Visit us on our social media platforms, to which link you can find in the description. Thank you. Watching Joker Folie back in 2024 in cinema was an interesting experience, to say at least. I was quite sure that this film will be highly successful and appreciated. Not only for its incredibly intellectual message, but also because it is simply a really good expression of art. How wrong I was. While I was watching it, I felt as if I was looking at myself, as if the character truly reflected who I am as a human being. It saddens me deeply that once again I found myself sharing the fate of being isolated in a society where Joker Folie had to face unjust and misunderstood criticism. When I looked at people's reactions over the internet, I see nothing but hypocrisy. How else can you describe a situation where people demand more innovation in art? Something new and unique, yet such an intriguing and multi-layered film passes without barely any positive resonance online. It is now quite obvious that Joker 2 is considered as a flop and a huge discouragement for the studios to invest in artistic and creative projects, favoring instead a mass-produced Marvel-like entertainment. Meanwhile, Joker tries to deliver a meaningful, multidimensional story through the form of musical spectacle, which describes the fantasies that we all live in, staying true to the essence of cinema itself. This film tackles a truly important subject, one I can relate to very personally because of my bipolar disorder. Joker Folie is a phenomenal movie, not flawless, no, but crucial. Definitely. We need to talk about mental illness loudly, especially after what was done to us during the pandemic. The isolation, the way the conditions were created for these disorders to grow. Higher up class decided to enslave all of us, just because they had a chance and pretext to do so. During the crisis like that, rich get richer. It all comes down to greed and hunger for more. The whole pandemic situation is like a social experiment in my eyes. Did we fail? I am not the one to judge. But clearly, everything has changed after that. We live in a truly sad world. And Todd Phillips' Joker reminds us of that in every possible way. The first movie formed a kind of manifesto for the budding anarchist, resembling Taxi Driver in its film language. Some were claiming this movie to be one of the most influential of the past decade, which I do not agree. I think the first one was overhyped. But the sequel, well, the sequel just subverts all of it and tells us the truth about the world and society. We're being indoctrinated and manipulated to believe the lies of certain agendas, because that pays into an interest of certain groups in power. And of course, the film takes place in a different era, so not everything translates directly. But when I see what happens to Art Fleck on screen and how his portrayal was received by the people, my blood boils. Sure, everyone will interpret this film differently, and not everyone will be drawn to its subject matter. Because Joker is not a DC movie. Thank God it's not. It's not about capes, or preaching morale, or fun. No, it's definitely something more. Joker is the work of art that takes a complex character inspired by the Killing Joke and turns it into something profoundly beautiful. It's a stunning portrayal of people struggling with mental illness, enriched by a complex but completely fake love story. I truly believed in Lady Gaga's performance. Her Harley Quinn genuinely loves Joker, but she loves the Joker, not Arthur Fleck. She loves the man he can become, his extraordinary, almost unreachable potential for bringing chaos and change to the world. That's what Arthur was striving for, But ultimately, he decided to face the consequences of his own choices. He believed in truth, and he realized that he became this power figure, a symbol which doesn't align with his true character. Sadly, the price he had to pay was immense and inevitable. Harley, and possibly an audience, in truth wanted Arthur to become Joker, to take over the city, to spread anarchy through Gotham, and maybe even the entire United States. She loved the idea of Joker, the ideology of anarchy. And it's quite enticing, I must admit. However, Arthur didn't believe in it. He realized that people who follow him are bloodthirsty and hungry for change of power, claiming it as a justice for the weak, are as dangerous, unjust, and easily to manipulate as the higher class. He realized that in the end, it's not about changing who's at the top. It's about changing yourself and embracing the truth. The system is unjust because we let it be unjust. People in power are abusing it because instead of taking actions into our own hands and forging our own destinies, instead of freeing ourselves from a constant belief in symbols, political figures, celebrities, influencers, self-proclaimed sages and saviors, we're fed into a lie instead of taking responsibility for our own actions like Arthur did. For once he fought realistically and didn't embrace the lie and the symbol that Joker was meant to be. If you really want something to change, start with yourself. Free yourself from ideologies, ideals, and worldviews. Stop and accept the fact that the world is much more complex than you think. Everything is connected and works in a symbiosis because we are the creatures of nature. History constantly repeats itself because we live in cycles. People are sick because the world is sick, and people in power are just a true reflection of our own characters. The system needs a drastic change. People in power need to be held accountable for their actions. But to make that happen, we really need to open our minds to possibilities that the world is not simply black and white. Sadly, majority doesn't understand the message of this movie. The revolution never was and never will be an answer. Instead, they are driven by instincts and hunger like animals. They are cheering for the men dying because it seems just.
Fucking deserves! Fuck you, fascist! Fuck, libtard! Yeah! Yeah! All right!
In the end, revolution eats its children. People tend to forget what they were fighting for in the very beginning, and the cycle repeats itself again and again. The people in power, the higher class, is in that place because either they got extremely lucky or they understood how the system is built and how it works. Instead of working for the system, rebel. But do it a smart way. Understand the foundations on which the system is built upon. Educate yourself, invest in yourself, and build your own system that works for you. That's how mature people act. Would you really like to embrace chaos? Do you think if system was about to collapse, people wouldn't get hurt, so others could benefit from it? life and fair, brother. And certainly, it's not a movie. But in my view, Joaquin Phoenix completely stole the show and proved that it's possible to surpass even the greatest legends of the craft, simply by fully surrendering to the role. Joaquin Phoenix, in my eyes, is a far better Joker than Heath Ledger. Yes, I know, that's controversial, but Phoenix left me speechless through his transformation into Arthur and interpretation of Joker. Sure, Heath Ledger embodied the comic book Joker, the Prince of Darkness, and he will always stand among one of the best villains that cinema ever created. But Phoenix created something else entirely. A different league. The Joker of our world, of our reality. Folie deux means the world is delusional, and we're in this together. I love this film the way I love myself. Looking at Joker is like looking into my own reflection in a distorted mirror. Joker is me.
Location unknown.
I'm setting off to Dijon.
Be careful, love.
Always feeling danger.
No more.
It's thrilling. I'm always bidding.